Live from Ocean City, Maryland, we welcome you to the 2016 Maryland Association of Housing and Redevelopment Agencies Conference. From the beautiful Clarion Resort, Fontainebleau Hotel, MAHRA Ignite.
So that she can introduce our keynote speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. I'm back. I know I've told you guys I'm excited about all kinds of things, but what I'm really excited about is the opportunity to have our keynote speaker up here with us today. I have been anxiously awaiting since before I even got here to the conference to meet Mr. McCoy, and I also can't wait to get a hold of his book and read it and share it with my staff and pass along to my residents. So that's how excited I am. So it's going to be my pleasure to introduce you to our keynote speaker, Mr. Vaughn McCoy. In addition to being an award-winning lawyer and businessman, Vaughn is an author, mentor, and a sought-after motivational speaker. In his honest and revealing autobiography, Playing Up, One Man's Rise from Public Housing to Public Service Through Mentorship, the former Rutgers University football standout leads the readers through the mindset and strategies that put him on the path to success from inner-city Paterson, New Jersey, and Eastside High School to the United States Attorney's Office and beyond. Vaughn is Managing Director and Vice President, Legal for PSEG Long Island, a subsidiary of the Public Service Enterprise Group Incorporated, New Jersey's largest energy holding company that he joined in 2006. He manages the legal operations and leads a staff that provides legal services and support to the business operations. He is a member of the senior leadership team that is committed to building an industry-leading electric company on Long Island and in the Rockaways. Our keynote speaker is well known in New York and New Jersey for his 20 years of leadership of corporations, communities, and people. His experience spans federal and state government, nonprofits, law firms, and corporations, where he earned a reputation as a business-savvy lawyer who is at home in the boardroom and in the trenches. Vaughn has been recognized for his ability to influence, motivate, and organize to achieve goals, and has been recruited as a straight shooter and a big picture thinker. We'd like to welcome Mr. Vaughn McCoy. Thank you.
My name is Vaughn L. McCoy. My title is Managing Director, Vice President for PSEG Long Island. I lived in public housing practically my entire life until I graduated college. Growing up in any environment, shapes you, whether it's in public housing or affordable housing or any place else, and it can shape you positively or negatively. And I think from the positive aspect, growing up in public housing, there are lots of families and lots of kids around. And so there was a sense of community. Ever since I was a little kid, running around in the streets, playing football, baseball, basketball, it didn't matter what the season was, we did it.
We try to encourage, everyone to participate in something that they feel can enhance their lives.
Sports and education both provided an opportunity for me to kind of pursue that path of higher education. I thought there was an opportunity to get a scholarship, or at least my coaches did anyway, and so I tried to follow their advice.
I always felt he was going to be successful, just like many of the other students who were in our programs, because their interest went far beyond just playing baseball and basketball and football.
I met Vaughn when he was playing basketball for Eastside High School. I saw a relationship born between him and myself that was not born just out of the basketball, but us also being around each other in public housing. Those relationships, those covenant relationships are built by being side by side. And I watched this young man become a tremendous leader.
To be a leader, I think if you play a sport, any sport, you have to learn how to lead yourself, and then eventually you'll learn how to lead other people. After high school, I went to college at Rutgers University on a football scholarship and played there for 4 years. And then I went to Rutgers Law School. Ultimately, I got to college where, mentorship kind of took a whole different meaning for me because I met Mr. G, and he was a very successful businessman. And I started to tell him my story. He said, I watched you, I saw you on the field. I think you're a tough kid. I think you have what it takes to be successful. I had to do what I talk about in the book, which is called playing up. And that term is defined as leveraging all of your gifts, talents, skills, and abilities to solve a problem or leveraging opportunities. Throughout my whole career, I've always tried to challenge myself by taking on new opportunities and doing different things. My tenure as an assistant United States attorney was probably, I think to date, one of the most professionally rewarding experiences that I've had. That first opportunity for me to get in court and stand up and say, to a jury, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Vaughn McCoy, and I'm appearing on behalf of the United States of America. It was a magical moment. I think mentorship plays a role in all of our lives, but it played a particular role in my life, and as a result of that, I'm doing what I do today. I kind of view my job now, really, is to kind of give back.
What inspires me about Mr. McCoy is his humbleness and ambition.
Vaughn is so inspiring, right? His drive to succeed inspires. His drive to do more inspires. Whenever I feel like I can't do something or it's too hard or I want to give up, I always think of where he started and where he is now.
For those people who don't have that home, that's why we have some of the issues that we have. There's no place where they can dream. There's no place where they feel loved. There's no place where they can exist and be authentic. Understand that there are people out there who care. And if you apply yourself in a very positive way, then you too can be successful. My name is Vaughn L. McCoy.
Every time I see that video, I didn't plan on this, so. It just reminds me of the journey. And the sacrifices that were made by my family, my mother, the youngest of 6 kids, and it just reminds me of the journey, and it hasn't been easy for me, or for us as a family, but the important thing is, and I really want to come here today to really encourage you, and no matter where you are in the value chain of providing services, of enabling people, whether they're physically challenged or emotionally challenged or mentally challenged, to have a home. And my subject for today, I'm going to get to it in a minute, is there's no place like home. And that resonates with me on many, many levels, because I understand that, as I said in the video, that there really is no place like home. And so thank you all for allowing me to come and kind of share my story and my journey, with you. I want to thank Nikki Biggs for, allowing me to come, and Marsha for allowing me to come and
you know, when I set out on this journey, and my wife could not be here with me today. Hopefully she's watching and she's streaming somewhere, but, you know, hello, Maryland. My wife is from Maryland. She's from Baltimore, Maryland. And, you know, Western High School and Roland Park Middle School and Gilman. So I spent a lot of time, and I do spend a lot of time in Maryland. And she wished she could be here with me today, but she could not. She has a health fair that she's working up in New Jersey, and she couldn't be here. But, you know, when the opportunity came to come down here to Ocean City and to talk to all of you about, you know, something that's very, very important to me, I couldn't pass it up. So, honey, if you're watching, hello, and you have wonderful people down here. All the sponsors who really make this thing happen, you know, who provide the funding and the resources that enable, you know, the Maryland Association of Housing and Redevelopment Agencies to put this on and to bring people together to talk about issues, because I understand the challenges that you face, the funding challenges that you face, the bureaucratic challenges that you face. Sometimes you feel not appreciated or unappreciated, the staff challenges you face. All of those things are real, and I understand that sometimes it can make you want to throw your hands up, but as that video has shown me, and I hope it showed you, that you do make a difference, and you can make a difference. So today we want to focus on the positive, we want to focus on the good, we want to focus on those things that provide hope to the people that you serve. And so the title of my book is called Playing Up: One Man's Rise from Public Housing to Public Service Through Mentorship. And we must have gone through 50 titles for this book, but none of them kind of captured the essence of who I am and my journey than that title, One Man's Rise from Public Housing to Public Service Through Mentorship. You know, because when I was born, we lived in Christopher Columbus projects. There were 7 of us living in a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment in the Christopher Columbus projects in Paterson, New Jersey. If you know anything about Paterson, New Jersey's 3rd largest city, some of the same challenges as some of the cities that you all work in. And I went to Paterson Public Schools my entire life until I got to Eastside High School. Now, for those of you who don't know about Eastside High School, that's the high school that was featured in the movie Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman starring as baseball bat-wielding principal Joe Clark. And Joe Clark was my principal at Eastside. We came in the same year. 1982 was my freshman year at Eastside, and it was his first year as principal at Eastside. Because of all of the gang activity, the drugs, and the violence, and the low academic scores, they brought in this reformer who was supposed to come in and kind of turn things around. And he did in many respects. And you know, one of my favorite Joe Clark stories was this. You know, he would come across the loudspeaker every day, and he would say, today is double coupon day. Mr. Clark, what you talking about? We're going shopping today? He says, no, if you get suspended for 3 days, it's 6. If you get suspended for 5 days, it's 10. If you get suspended for 10, you're out of school. And so there were no food fights in the cafeteria that day, but he would come across a loudspeaker every day, and he would give us a different word. He would challenge us, you know, to kind of think differently about who we were and who we are and what we could be. And so, you know, he actually wrote the foreword to my book, and I'm very appreciative of him for doing that. But it was one of those things where it was a life-changing experience, you know, kind of growing up in Paterson and going to Eastside High School and meeting Joe Clark and all the other wonderful people who were a part of my journey. And so through my journey and through the title of this book, and that's probably why I'm here today, this title, One Man's Rise from Public Housing to Public Service Through Mentorship. That video that you saw was a video that came out of the HAI group of Connecticut, which I think provides insurance products to housing authorities around the country. And they have a program, or they were thinking about implementing a mentoring program in the housing authorities that they serve. And so somebody Googled mentorship and public housing, and my book and my face came up. And they reached out to me and they said, you know, we want to talk to you about perhaps working with us. And so one thing led to another. I went to the premiere of the Rethink Housing website in New York City at NYU last summer, and they said, Vaughn, can we feature you in one of our videos and put you on our website as a success story of folks coming out of public housing? I said, absolutely. because I understand what you're trying to do, and what we're trying to do is to change the perception of how people perceive those in public housing. And you know, I'm guilty of it, maybe you are too. You know, growing up where I grew up, when you heard that people were from certain neighborhoods or housing projects, a certain image came to your head. So, you're from Alabama projects, you're from Christopher Columbus projects, you're from Fifth Ave projects, you're from Aspen Street projects, you're from Prince Street projects. All of those different things create images in your mind about the person that's in front of you. And so if that was happening in our own communities, how are people perceiving us outside of the community when you say you come from those different areas? And so I want to thank the HAI group for allowing me to do that video. And again, it's a powerful video. And in 4 minutes, it kind of captures the essence of who I am and why I'm here. And so this theme, there's no place like home. The first thing that comes to my mind is that movie that we all saw, right? About this little girl named Dorothy in Kansas. And this hurricane or this tornado or this monsoon comes and it blows her whole home away. And she lands in this place that's unfamiliar to her. And throughout the 2 or 3 hour movie, what is she trying to do? She's trying to find her way home. She meets all of these wonderful people along the way. She overcomes obstacles and challenges. She meets the wizard. She meets the good witch and the bad witch. And she finally gets to the point at the end of the movie where she's able to go. There was a movie when I was growing up called The Warriors, cult classic. The Warriors was a gang out of Brooklyn, and they went to a rally in the Bronx, and they had all the gangs in New York City at this rally, and the rally was led by this guy Cyrus, who was the leader of the biggest gang. And the Warriors got framed. Somebody shot and killed Cyrus, and they blamed it on the Warriors. And so they were in the Bronx. They had to fight their way all the way back to Brooklyn because Brooklyn was home. In games as a kid, freeze tag, Mother May I, we had a game called Gorman where you had to run from one end to the other end, and each end was home base. And in order to win the game, you had to always find yourself getting back home. In baseball, you start at home plate, and the team that wins is the team that can get home more times than the other team. And so the object of the game is to get. We've all traveled around this country, and maybe some of us have traveled out of the country. And no matter how good it is, and no matter how much fun we're having, at some point, we want to go. Maybe this doesn't happen to any of you, but when your boss or your colleagues are getting on your nerve at work, and you're tired and you're fed up, you make up in your mind that you just want to go. I know when I was a kid and I wanted to avoid a test, or I wanted to avoid a confrontation with a bully in school, I would make up an excuse and ask my mom if I could stay. When we've worked a long day and we've given it all that we've got, we're exhausted, we're tired, but productive. All we really want to do is to just go. If we're laid up in the hospital for any point in time or any period of time, one of the main things on our minds in that hospital and talking to the doctor is, when am I going to go? I had brothers who were incarcerated, and they would write me letters, and I would go visit them.
And they would always talk about when they come. One day I was walking home from basketball practice. I was a freshman in high school. And I was walking home from the gym, and these guys jumped me. They tried to take my coat. And the direction that I ran toward, because there was safety for me, I wanted to run in the direction of when we screwed up and we failed miserably at something. I don't know about you, but the first place I want to go is when we feel down and we're defeated. We just want to go home. When your deal is not going well, when the people who you're trying to help don't appreciate what you're doing, you just want to throw up your hands and tell everybody to go home. When something good happens, you get that raise on your job, you get that promotion, you get that commendation, you get a positive result. Often, we cannot wait to get home. I can go on and on and on and on, and time after time after time of all the situations in life that drive us to a place called home. And so in my life and in my experiences, I've found that there is no place like home. No matter how perfect or imperfect, when we experience life, more often than not, we come to the conclusion that there is no place like home. And that's why what you do is very, very important to what I'm sharing and what I'm saying. Because all of you, through the work that you do and the services that you provide an atmosphere, provide an environment, provide a situation that people can call home. Home is not just a place where we experience life, or not just a physical place. It's feelings, it's memories that are associated with home, even though we're not there. So you can go into an office and you say to yourself, this feels homey. You can go to a hotel room and you say to yourself, this feels homey. You can go on vacation or to somebody else's home. It's the emotion that's associated with the feeling of home. You provide the advocacy. You provide the expertise. You provide the analysis. You provide the services. You provide the hope that allow people to call a place, a thing, an atmosphere, a culture, an environment, home. That's very important. They say that in life, you need food, clothing, and shelter, a home. I want to focus on that word shelter, another word for home. Why is shelter important? For 3 reasons. Physically, it protects us from the elements, the heat, the cold, the rain, the winds, the storms, and other acts of nature. I work for a utility company. When it's very, very hot outside, we have a mass media communication to let people know that it's unsafe to be outside in the heat. And that if you can, you need to take shelter in your. When it's very, very cold outside, and we're expecting blizzard-like conditions. Again, we're on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, press releases. We're communicating to people that if you don't have to go out, you need to take shelter in your home. People need homes. They need a place where they can be sheltered and protected from the elements. That if they're not, it could injure them or kill them. Having a home, having a place protected from the elements. It preserves lives. Having a home, protecting people from the elements. It preserves lives. It also shelters us not just physically, but emotionally. Home provides safety, security, a sense of belonging, love, restoration, nourishment, refuge, familiarity, dreaming. I've learned that we cannot dream if we're only learning how to survive. The people that you serve and that we serve, they can't dream if the only thing they know how to do is survive. So emotionally, a home is a place where you can do all of those things, where you feel safe. In all the situations I just talked about, whether people are getting on your nerve at work, whether you failed at something, or whether a deal has gone bad, you always want to get to that place where you're home. Why? Because home is where safety is. Home is where security is. Home is where a sense of belonging is. Home is where restoration and nourishment is. So just imagine if you experienced those things in life and you did not have a place that you can call home. A sense of security. Those things help you to navigate life. Home provides the emotional stability that we need. When I was a kid, we moved 5 times. And at the time, I thought it was a negative. I'm like, Mom, why do we keep moving? Every time I get settled in one neighborhood, I had to move to another one. Every time I started at one school, I had to go to another school. But I understand now what she was trying to do was to find the right home. And what I thought was a negative really turned out to be a positive for me. And you say, why do you say that, Vaughn? Because moving around Paterson, New Jersey, and living in different neighborhoods and doing different things and going to different schools, it really helped me to learn how to deal with change. You know, it really helped me learn to adapt to changing circumstances. Now, I'm a full-grown adult, I'm a professional, and I can tell you, I've worked with people throughout my career who cannot adapt to change. They can't adapt to changing circumstances. And so what I thought was a negative actually turned out to be a positive for me. And so it's helped me. So home provides that emotional comfort and stability that we need in order to grow and to develop into meaningful adults. Physically, it provides us. Emotionally, it provides us. Socially, home is where we first learn to interact with other people. You know, when we see somebody out and they're not doing the right thing, and we see a kid, we always say, this kid doesn't have home training. Because we understand that home is that place socially that we develop the skills that we need in order to build a life. So if we're not providing homes to families in need, a place where they're sheltered physically, a place where they're sheltered emotionally, a place where they're sheltered socially, we open ourselves up to experience some of the conduct and some of the things that we're seeing right now because people don't have a home. Home provides a sense of dignity, a sense of self-worth, a sense of pride. Home. That place where we can dream. I used to lay in my bed at night and I would dream about becoming a lawyer. I would dream about standing up in court. Because my fourth grade teacher, Juanita Jones, said to me, she said, Vaughn, I think you make a great lawyer someday. And I said, why do you say that, Ms. Jones? She said, Vaughn, because you talk too much. So I said, okay, Mrs. Jones, but that seed that Mrs. Jones planted in my mind stayed with me. And so when I got to high school, I wrote in my high school yearbook, they said, Vaughn, what do you want to be? I said, I want to be a lawyer. Didn't know how I was going to do it. I was a kid from the projects. No kid from the project became a lawyer. But I was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to Rutgers University to play football because my coach said, if you play with me, Vaughn, I think you have something special. If you work hard, I really believe that you can get a scholarship to college. I said, really? So I worked hard. I wasn't the best player. I wasn't the strongest player. I wasn't the fastest player. I was consistent. I showed up every day. I did my homework because I had a place to call home. Homework is not meant to be done sleeping under a bridge in the street. It's not called bridge work. Homework is not meant to be done in a stairwell of a building. It's not called stair work. If I didn't have a stable environment where I could do those things to prepare to become a lawyer, I don't know if I'd be here today. I had a place. It wasn't perfect, but it was called home. Home helps you to build a life. And so because Mrs. Jones planted that seed in my mind that I could be a lawyer, and because I got a scholarship, it enabled me to defy what a lot of people said I couldn't do, to defy what people thought about kids from the projects and what they could achieve and what they couldn't achieve. But there was a component of all of that, a common denominator. I had a place that I could call home. And so I know sometimes it's challenging for you in the work that you do. And it seems like the people that you serve may not appreciate what you do, or some of them do not have the capacity or the facility to appreciate what you do. But I'm here to tell you, don't give up. Because I'm standing here today because people like Irma Gorham and Mike McDuffie used to hold, parties in the housing authorities and all those things that kids, wanted to do. There was a forum to do that. Because we understood that we could do more, we could be more, we could say more. And so I really just want to encourage you today to know that the work that you do is very, very important. And that I appreciate what you do. I know you all appreciate what each other does. And I want you to walk away from here today really understanding that there really is no place like home. I had the privilege, I guess now, maybe 4 years ago, of going to the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 46. I've been to 3 Super Bowls. It's been great. But Super Bowl 46 was my first Super Bowl. And it was at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. New York Giants were playing the Indianapolis Colts. Playing the New England Patriots in Indianapolis where the Colts play. And I had a chance to go to this game, and as a kid, I've always wanted to go to the Super Bowl because I always played sports, and I said, you know, one day I'm going to go to the Super Bowl. And I finally found myself there at the Super Bowl. And it was an amazing experience. The whole Super Bowl experience and being in the atmosphere, wonderful. And so I get into the stadium, and the game begins. And you know, if you're a New York Giant fan, or if you're a football fan, you know, Victor Cruz is from Paterson, New Jersey. Victor's from. Actually, Victor Cruz and I went to the same elementary school, School 21. And Victor caught a touchdown pass in the game. And so I'm sitting there watching the game, and I found myself jealous of Victor because, you know, I wanted to be the kid from Paterson, New Jersey who caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl. And so even though I wanted to be, you know, at the Super Bowl, you know, all my life, in that very, very moment, there was only one place I wanted to be, and that place was home. And so I share all of these stories, I give you all of these examples, and I just really want to make the point, you know, to all of you, that the work that you do to shelter people physically, to help preserve life, to shelter them emotionally, to help them navigate life, and to shelter them socially, to help them build a life, are very, very important and crucial things. And I just want you to be empowered. I want you to be encouraged. I want you to be motivated, you know, to continue to help people along this journey. Because I know in the places that you serve, there are other Vaughn McCoys out there. There are other people out there who can progress through life and become an attorney, can become an accountant, can become a physician, can become a housing and development worker, can become a developer, can become a social worker. The scholarships that you offer to the young people who are living in the housing authorities that you serve can be the seed money to kind of help folks progress through life. We have to do it. And I'm living proof and a witness that because of people like you who work to help families to have a stable environment and a place that they can call home, they can really help themselves and their families succeed in life, because I think we all understand that there's no place like home. Thank you very much. Due to a technical issue, I don't have any of my books here today, but what I am going to do, I am going to have a sign-up list outside, and I promise you, if you sign up with or give me your business card or your address or whatever it is, I'll make sure you get a book, and I will sign it and autograph it for you. And I really do hope that you take this back, because one of the reasons I wrote this book was to empower young people to understand that there are people out there who care about them and who are willing to give back to them, and to make them understand that they can do it. They really can do it. And then the other reason I wrote it is to encourage people like me and people like you to understand that they can do it and to give back. And so I want, you know, your staff or your agencies, you know, to kind of take a look at this and put this in the hands of people that you think will benefit from it. And in addition to writing the book, we also wrote a workbook that goes along with it. And so it's being used in schools and in after-school programs, because I wanted to do more than just write a book and say I wrote a book. I really wanted to have these lessons to be infused and ingrained in the minds of young people, to kind of teach character education through literacy. Because I find that a lot of kids don't read because they don't like what they're reading. They can't relate to it. You know, they can't relate to it. And so they find themselves in my story somewhere. And not just my story, there's some other good books out there, so I don't want to suggest that my book is the only book, but it is a resource that can be used, I think, to inspire people to achieve higher heights in life and also to kind of push themselves. And so, again, I'll have some business cards, and if you want to sign up, and I'll invoice you for the book, honor code. I'll send you the book. You can send me the money. If you don't, Nikki will tell me where to find you. I'll find you somewhere. But again, I really, it's been an honor for me to kind of be here and share with you for a few minutes, and I kind of like to end early because you get better reviews when you end early. You don't. But really, I hope if you didn't take away anything else that I said today, I hope you took away one thing, that there's no place like. That's it. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was amazing. Thank you, Mr. McCoy. Wonderful. Isn't that really what we're here all about? That's it. I still have goosebumps. I can't wait to read the book. I can't wait to share the book because I know as soon as I start reading, everyone in my office is going to be like, okay, are you done? No, I'm not done. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to enjoy this book, and then I'm going to reluctantly have to let it go and pass it along. But I'll check up to make sure no one displaces the book, because it'll come back and we'll continue to share it. Thank you again. Thanks for sharing the story of inspiration with us. It's good to hear that you have been able to benefit from the programs that we work to keep in place just for families like yours. Vaughn will be in the lobby, not signing the book, but he'll make sure you've got the sign-up sheet. So get your name on there and get your book. Send him the money. Trust me, Nikki is very resourceful. She knows where to find everybody all the time. So let's make sure he gets his money. So some housekeeping things that I would like to share. And then prepare you to return to the breakout sessions. Yes, I said we still have some work to do this afternoon. I know it's been fun, but we'll get it done, and then this evening we'll have some downtime where we can come together and network again over dinner. This year, we're going to play Ignite Bingo. This is, again, it's how I met you all yesterday. I'm really excited about bingo. I love to play games anyway. I love to compete. My bingo sheet was the first one in, I think. I had it finished last night, but I couldn't find anybody up at 11 o'clock so I could turn in my sheet, and nobody knew who I was supposed to give it to. I think they just didn't want me to turn it in, but it's in. I have some competitors out there. I checked up on them. I think they're ready to go in too. So good luck, my friends, but I'm gonna win bingo. So everybody has a bingo sheet in your registration packet. It's green, it's a full sheet, and it's pretty easy. You still have time. What you're gonna do is work to find somebody that fits into each of the descriptions in the boxes. This can be the vendors that are in the vendor room, in the exhibit hall. It could be any of the speakers that are at the sessions or that are doing keynote speaking for us during the conference. But most importantly, it could be anyone in the audience. Just start to have a conversation about some of the questions, and you're gonna find you've got a lot of new friends out there that can help you fill in your blanks and get your bingo card filled out. Once you have it all filled in, turn it into the registration desk. Just ask them, where's the pile where Cindy's bingo sheet is? And they'll add them up there. So we're gonna have the prize, and we'll award that Friday at the closing breakfast to the bingo game winner. We also have a session and conference evaluations that were provided in your packet. It's very important for you to review those and give us your honest thoughts and comments and suggestions about how well we did with this conference, but more importantly, what could we do the next time that would even further enhance your experience and your opportunities and the benefit to be here with us sharing together. How could you bring someone else, get other folks involved? What would they like to see? What maybe didn't we do this year that would have brought in some more friends to join us? Feel free to share all that with us. We have very broad shoulders. We can take it all. So any comments, we appreciate that. And let us know how we did this year. Especially two people, I think, that really need to be recognized, and that's Nikki Biggs and the Havre de Grace Housing Authority, along with the folks from HOC. Thank you all for everything that you've done to pull this conference together. You've done a fine job. We're not done yet. There's still a lot of great things to come, but you guys did a bang-up job. Once you've finished your session evaluations after the session tomorrow, turn them into the desk for us so that we can review them. And now, on your tables, you will find we have MAHRA election ballots. We're going to elect 5 members to our MAHRA board at the general session tomorrow. So please complete your ballots. Turn them in at the registration desk today, not later than 4:30 p.m. And we'll have time then this afternoon to tally up the ballots, and tomorrow we will make the announcements of the MAHRA 2016 annual elections. So thank you all. Finish wrapping up. Don't forget your sessions. Okay. On the MAHRA ballot, we have the opportunity to have nominations on the floor. And what you're going to do simply, we're selecting five members, and we have 5 members on our ballot. But if there's someone else that you would like to nominate or that would be interested in a position that you feel would serve MAHRA well, just fill them in on the lines and submit that in with your ballot, and we will be able to then tally that along with the 5 nominees that are already on the ballot. So thank you very much.
Live from Ocean City, Maryland, we welcome you to the 2016 Maryland Association of Housing and Redevelopment Agencies Conference from the beautiful Clarion Resort, Fountain Blue Hotel, MAHRA Ignite.